This is the No Excuses Coaching Podcast with Ryan Montis and Alanna Banks, where we discuss the mindset, the attitude, and the strategies of elite coaching. Today, we're going to have a bit of a connection episode with everybody because we kind of hit the ground running, I think. Don't you, Ryan, with season 2?
We hit the ground totally running.
Yeah.
With season 2.
Yeah,
yes.
we really did. And so I think we're just going to pump the brakes for a minute and have a fun episode. And, we've got a lot of new listeners now that we've launched season 2. And I think this would be a great way to connect with the audience and allow them to get to know us a little bit better. So we've got a bunch of questions. And actually, you posted them on your Instagram the other day.
I did. I posted this on my Instagram stories just over the weekend, just for fun. I found this post from something called Starting the Convo, and it's just a bunch of questions, and it's called the 20 questions mental health edition. And so I let people pick which question off this list they wanted me to answer, and I answered a few of them on my Instagram stories at Ryan Montis NLP on Instagram if you're interested. But before we address these questions, Alanna, during the intro to this episode, you said we're going to pump the brakes a little and have a fun connection episode. I don't feel like we're pumping the brakes. I feel like the car is going right along at highway speed, and now we're going to stick our arms out of the windows and start screaming.
Yeah.
That's my metaphor for this episode.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, we've been in the car for a while, and we need to just have some fun and talk about just regular stuff.
We're gonna crank the tunes.
Yeah.
And start waving at other people in other cars.
Yeah.
That's what's
happening.
If we're using the car metaphor, that's what this episode is.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
So we're going to run through these because when we've done episodes like this in the past, we do kind of like to talk, or at least I do. Sometimes I can get a little carried away. So we're going to go through these pretty quick. We've got about 18 questions to get through, but we are going to move it. So don't worry. There's not going to be this huge, long, answers to every single question. And we'll get through as many as we can because, we do like to keep these episodes 30 minutes tops.
I wasn't worried.
No, I'm saying, if the audience is worried, they're like, oh my God, all these questions, too much. And if you're about to jump out of the car.
Why would they be worried about that? If you don't want to hear us talk, don't listen to this podcast, audience. If you do want to hear us talk, then keep doing what you're doing.
Stick around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right.
Number one.
Do you want me to ask you first? I'll ask you first.
Sure.
What's your favorite journal prompt?
That one's really easy. I don't journal. I have in the past. I don't currently. I may again in the future. When I do journal, I tend to write from my future desired end results. When I do journal, I tend to write from my future desired end results, meaning I'll imagine I've already accomplished something that I want to accomplish, and then I'll describe it to myself in written form.
Nice.
Boom. Same question. Alanna Banks, what's your favorite journal prompt?
Yeah, so I don't like journal prompts. I am a journaler. I definitely do write things out, but I don't use prompts. When I'm journaling, I literally am just pouring my heart and my head onto a piece of paper, and that's it. The other prompt that I might use is I'll pull cards for myself, and then I'll use that as a jumping off place if I don't really have anything specific. But yeah, I don't use journal prompts at all.
Promptless. We're both anti-prompt.
We are.
Cool.
That's 1 point Alanna, 1 point Ryan.
Cool. Oh, there's points now.
Journal.
Cool. We didn't mention that.
We need to make it kind of competitive. I am an Aries after all. I love a bit of competition.
Cool. Whose opinion is more valid on these very subjective, personal questions? Only time will tell. Okay. Number 2. I'll ask you this time.
Okay.
Alanna Banks, a moment you've felt true happiness.
I feel happy a lot of the time, but I think for me, true happiness is just a feeling of a moment. So for me, true happiness is being on the beach, feeling the sun, hearing the sounds of summer, knowing that I really don't have anything to do, maybe watching my kids having fun, like just enjoying myself. That's like a true happy moment for me. But I
Yeah.
don't think I have one specific happiest moment ever.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good one. That's a
Yeah.
good. Let's see. A moment I've felt true happiness. I guess glad to say there's probably an infinite number of these at this point, 37 years into this life. I've been happy, truly happy many times. I think like for me, I love adventure, and being in any journey is a moment when I'm truly happy. So like being on an airplane, pretty much regardless of the destination, but just like being in transit is a happy place, is a happy moment
Yeah.
for me. Yeah.
I
Cool.
love that.
We don't have time to get more detailed than that. Number
No, we
3.
don't. We'll be
Yeah.
here. We'll be here all day.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay, I'll ask you now. Favorite self-care activity?
Yeah. This is one of the answers that made it into my Instagram stories the other day.
Mm.
Definitely hot showers. Like I don't like to go a day without having a hot shower. Sometimes two. Sometimes I'll have 2 hot showers. But like I know this is my favorite self-care activity because for me it's definitely a self-care thing. And like I do it more than anything else. I have hot showers more than I meditate, more than I go to the spa for any reason, more than I get massages, et cetera, et cetera. Hot shower. That's my jam. How about
Yeah.
you? What do you got?
Yeah, bath, like a hot bath, bubbles, a face mask.
Yeah. That's like the premium version of what I just described. For me, it's just like turn on the shower and stand there for 15 minutes. You've got like a whole like thing
Yeah,
with
I've got like a
oils,
whole thing. Like
candles.
I bring a book, like I'll light a candle,
Yeah.
I'll probably have a glass of wine. Yeah, like I make it a thing.
Yeah. It's a whole thing. All right,
Yeah.
cool. There
Yeah.
you go. Number 4.
I feel
This
like
is
number
kind of
4 is
similar.
similar.
It's very, yeah, it's almost the same, but okay, let's put it out there. Number 4, Alanna Banks, something that makes you happy.
Something that makes me happy is when someone pays me a compliment. I really like that. I
Yeah.
like getting complimented and I love like surprises, like a surprise phone call or a surprise gift in the mail or like, I don't know, like a surprise thing, something that would like surprise and delight me. That makes me happy.
Something. Well, here's a surprise compliment for you, Alanna Banks.
Okay.
I think you're a great podcast co-host.
Thank you. That makes
You're
me
most
happy.
welcome.
See?
There you go.
That's all it takes.
Ask and you receive, sort of. Okay, something that makes me happy. When I read this question, whatever it was, 20 seconds ago, the first thing that came to mind was peanut M&Ms, which I rarely eat, but I do like them. And then
Yeah.
the second thing that came to mind that makes me happy is the fact that I'm willing to admit that I like normal milk chocolate much more than dark chocolate. This came
Mm.
up in conversation with one of my students recently.
Yeah.
I'm like, and part of me suspects that people who like are really adamant that dark chocolate is better than normal chocolate are either lying to me or to themselves or both. But that's a topic for another day.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. Milk chocolate all the way. Milk chocolate covered almonds are my favorite.
Yeah. Like they
President's
used to,
Choice milk chocolate covered almonds are like, oh my God.
or those ones that like in elementary school, they like try to get you to sell to raise money
Yes.
for whatever it is
Like
they're trying to raise money
$3. Yeah.
for.
Yeah.
Yeah. $3 a box.
Yeah.
Worth it. So good.
So worth it.
So
$3
good.
well spent.
I'll take the almond chocolate covered almonds over the peanut M&Ms actually, now that you
Yeah.
mention it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Accessibility is a
What
question.
about glossettes? Are you a glossettes person?
I do like glossettes. Like raisin glossettes or
Yeah.
peanut glossettes?
Yeah.
Because
No,
there's
the
both.
raisin ones. The
Yeah.
raisin one.
I definitely prefer the raisin ones. Yeah, those are good.
Yeah. Okay.
When I think about glossettes, I think about Jerry Seinfeld talking about the like opening. Remember that like old school like movie theater ad where it's like the snacks
Yeah.
and there's that song, "Let's Go Out to the Lobby." And he's like describing how the box of glossettes goes to the lobby and buys a box of glossettes to eat
Yes.
as being this like perverse cannibalistic act. Anyways, that's what I think about when I think about glossettes.
When I think of glossettes, I think of the movies too. That's so funny.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're
Moving
intrinsically
right
linked.
along.
Yeah,
Moving
now
right
that
along.
that has been established. Next, Your go-to sad song. Okay, what's your go-to sad song?
Oh God, I have so many. How can I have just one? Like I have about like if you go to my Spotify, I have probably like 50 to 60 playlists. So like I'm a huge music person, but I would say, okay, let's think. My go-to sad song is probably by the Bar Brothers, and it's called You Would Have to Lose Your Mind. And I actually have a whole playlist called Gut Wrenching.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
So
I think
if
a
you
lot
want
of
to look me
people
up on
are like that.
Spotify, you can find
Yeah.
all my music right there.
Is that actually possible? Could people like find you on Spotify and know all your music tastes?
Yes, they could.
Can I
But I
turn
have
that
a
off?
secret name on Spotify, so it's not under Alanna. It's under, should I share? I don't know. Do I want to share with the world? I
I
don't
don't
mind, actually. I don't really
I don't
care.
know. Should you? I feel like some like diabolical person could like analyze all your music choices and like create some kind of psychological profile on you and like figure out your social insurance number from it somehow and then like steal your identity. And then I'd have to record the podcast with a different person, whoever
Yeah. Okay. Well,
owns
maybe I
your
won't
identity.
share, but if you are interested, send me a message and I'm happy to share it with you.
Okay, you hear that, diabolical identity thieves? You just got a messenger to find out the
Well, I'll
Spotify
vet the
identity.
message first.
Oh,
I'll
okay,
vet.
bet the message. Okay, good call. Okay, yeah, this was another one that I answered on my IG stories the other day, and my honest answer is I do not have a go-to sad song. That I don't operate that way. If I'm like, I think it's a very natural, very human tendency, and I know a lot of people have go-to sad songs where they'll, really lean into their sadness by listening to sad music when they're sad. I don't do that. I can't say how I deal with sadness specifically because it's more of a case by case kind of thing. But I couldn't tell you a specific song because that's just not a behavior that I do
Hmm,
personally.
that's okay.
Boom. Number next.
What about happy
Uh,
song? Do you have a happy song? That's the
yeah.
next question.
Okay, I'll just answer because now I'm getting like not disoriented, but I'm just losing track of who's because we
Yeah.
started this like taking turns asking and taking turns answering, and that was destined to not
Yeah.
to
We
not
don't need to
last, right?
keep doing that. It's okay.
Let's just get through these questions.
Yeah.
Go to happy song. This is the kind of thing that changes frequently for me. And my go to
Totally.
happy song is probably just whatever my current favorite song is, to be honest. There's this song that I like heard recently, actually over this summer. And I gave a different answer on Instagram over the weekend, but I'm going to answer this way. I don't even remember what the artist is, but it's called like A B C D E F
Oh
U.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Um,
the song of the summer. Yeah, I
was that the
totally.
song of the summer?
Yeah.
Yeah, that song makes me happy right now. And if you don't know what this song is, go listen to it. A B C D E F U. If you search that, it'll come up.
It'll come up. Yeah,
It'll
100%.
come
Yeah.
up.
I can't remember the name of the artist either. But that was a big one.
Yeah, solid jam.
Hmm.
Okay, what's your
Yeah, I'm
go-to
trying to
happy
think what my
song?
go-to I mean, I'm kind of like you. I don't really have a go-to happy song. It's just
Yeah.
like I like a song and then I listen to it to death. Like recently, actually, my kids were like, "Enough, mom. I can't listen to this anymore." But I was like obsessed with the Massive by Drake. Like every time we got in the car, I was like, "Let's listen to Massive."
I don't know
Um,
that one.
yeah, it's like one of his newer songs. So yeah, I
Who's Drake?
really
Who's Drake? I never heard of that. Is that a band? Drake?
you're joking, right?
Yeah, I'm joking.
Okay. I would say that was, but not right now. I don't really know if I have one at the moment, but
You're out of time for that question, anyways.
okay.
Next.
Move on to,
Cool. Drake, massive. Cool.
oh, what
What
do
do
you
you
do when
number
you're feeling
7?
anxious?
I gave a pretty good answer for this on the weekend. There's this thing called the like physiological sigh, and Huberman talks about this. Andrew Huberman, Alex Huberman, Andrew Huberman, podcast guy. Anyways, and this is where like if you're feeling feelings of anxiety or general emotional discomfort, you just take a deep breath in, as deep as you can, and then a little extra.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a 2-stage inhale and then a really slow exhale. And the trick is the exhale should take like double the length of your inhale. This is called a physiological sigh. And it's one of many ways, but it's one of the simpler, more elegant ways to stimulate your parasympathetic nervous system, which causes you to feel calm, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes you can release anxiety by doing this just once.
Yeah.
And if you do it 2 or 3 times, it really almost guarantees you're going to feel better. That's what I've got. What do you do when you're feeling anxious?
I just drink wine.
Yeah, just drink wine. Yeah. That's
No,
so
I'm
now we're
teasing.
gonna have to put a disclaimer on this episode, I guess.
No, I'm
Cool.
teasing. No, I don't drink wine. I mean, I don't do that to calm down my anxiety, but I have dealt with a lot of anxiety in the past. And actually, if you want to read about my anxiety, you can just Google my name and Chatelaine magazine, and a whole article comes up about me and my former issues.
Cool.
So I have a lot to say about anxiety, but I'll keep it brief. My go-to right now, to be honest, is listening to sound frequencies when I'm feeling anxious. So in the morning, I listen to 1 hour of sound frequencies, and I'm doing a bit of an experiment right now. So that's my go-to at the moment. Miracle Tones, if you look that up on Spotify.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
Yeah. Can be helpful for sure. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Next question. Alanna Banks, are you an introvert or an extrovert?
I think I'm an introverted extrovert. Like I like being around people, but I also really like to be alone. So I don't know what that means. Like I can be an outgoing and enthusiastic and friendly, and I like hanging out with people, but I am a bit of a loner. I like to be alone.
Yeah.
To recharge. Like I need to recharge.
Yeah. I gotcha.
Yeah. So I don't know what that is. Ambivert?
Amnivert?
Yeah.
Yeah. This whole question of like, are you an introvert or are you an extrovert is like for me, it's a whole thing because I think it's so absurd that we have these concepts of introvert versus extrovert because nobody's one or the other.
Yeah.
My belief is that nobody is an introvert or an extrovert. Everybody's an ambivert and it's just context dependent.
Yeah.
Right. And there's this whole other question of labeling somebody as one or the other and how that then will influence their behaviors in life. Right.
Yeah. It could be damaging for sure. But I would say that when it comes to extrovert, introvert, I think if you're an extrovert, you actually have to go out and be around people to recharge your battery, to feel like charged up and to feel good. And if you're an introvert, you actually need to like be alone to recharge your battery.
Yeah, I know that whole recharging, discharging battery metaphor is always attached to any conversation around introvert versus extrovert. We should probably do like a whole episode about that because I have a lot to say about this.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll come back to that. But either way, my answer is to am I an introvert or an extrovert is both, neither, ambivert, context dependent. Yeah. Next one, something you're proud of.
Oh, yeah.
You
well,
go first.
I mean, I'm really proud of this podcast.
The No Excuses Coaching Podcast with Alanna Banks and Ryan Montis, or with Ryan Montis and Alanna Banks.
Whichever. I'm really proud of it. Yeah, I'm really proud of that. But one thing that I'm most proud of, I would say, with the exception of like having amazing children, is I built a fabric store from the ground up, built a community. It was amazing. I had it for a long time, 8 years, and then I sold it. Like that was huge for me. Like I was just like, wow, I can't believe I did this.
Yeah.
So I'm very proud of that.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. That's pretty cool. Yeah. That's pretty awesome. And the question is something that I'm proud of. Yeah, I'm grateful to say lots of things. The podcast is going really well. My, personal development and coaching training company. I think the thing that I'm most proud of though is taking action to heal myself so that I could live a life of freedom, right? Like, I think 99.9% of the people that listen to this podcast did not know me 20 years ago. But if they did, they would have known somebody with, social anxiety and problems with general anxiety and, low self-esteem and low self-confidence. And my life is night and day difference because of the decisions that I made and the actions that I've taken to escape that. And that's something I'm super duper proud of.
That's amazing.
That we also, thank you.
I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thank you. I was just about to say, but we also don't have time to get into that. Perhaps that's a subject for another day as well.
Yeah. Let's go
Yeah,
there because
we
I think
got
we have similar pasts. I mean, I don't really know the specifics of yours, but I also had a lot of anxiety
yeah.
um and
We could
phobias. So we
we could
should
do an
go there
episode
maybe.
where we just talk about how like miserable we were 20 years ago, long before we knew each other. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, cool. All right,
Okay.
we'll put it. It's coming down. It's in the hopper. Coming down, folks. Watch out.
Bookmarked right there.
Bookmarked. Yeah. Okay. So proud. Next question is what is something motivating? What do you, Alanna Banks, what do you believe is something that is motivating? The Instagram slide that I'm looking at is very vague on this one. I don't know if it's motivating you, motivating in general. What's
What is
interpret this as you
motivating?
will. What
I
is motivating?
mean, I'll take this as like what motivates me. I am a very motivated person. And what motivates me is really just like learning and growing and achieving and trying new things and healing and self reflection and then like figuring things out. Like that's what motivates me. That's what I look forward to every day is just like, what am I going to figure out today or learn or share that's going to have a ripple effect?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll take it. What is something motivating?
Yeah. What's
Super.
motivating for you?
Well, it doesn't say for me specifically. It just says what's something motivating.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that's motivating a lot of people is pain. I think a lot of people are motivated to move away from pain, and that creates action for a lot of people. That might sound negative, but it's not. It's just a literal statement of fact. Everybody's either moving away from pain or towards freedom slash pleasure, and I think that's a very common motivator.
Hmm.
What's motivating for me? For me, I've mentioned this many times. My highest value is freedom. So everything I do is in the name of moving towards greater freedom for myself and the world. Cool.
Nice. I like it. Take it.
Number or number whatever. What makes you angry, Alanna Banks?
Ah, a lot of things.
Get comfortable, everybody.
No.
No, I'm just kidding.
What makes me angry? Something as simple as like a really bad cup of coffee. That makes me really angry.
Oh,
Yeah. I hate a bad cup of coffee. You know what else really makes me angry is when I'm doing the dishes and someone needs to get into the garbage and
mm-hmm.
just wait.
Yeah,
Just wait.
yeah,
And then when I'm done, you can put yourself in the garbage.
yeah.
That also
But
makes me
what?
angry.
But what if, like, check this out?
Hmm.
Somebody's in your house. They've just made themselves a cup of coffee. Something's gone terribly wrong. It's bad. And the only thing that they can do in that moment, they must hurl it into the garbage immediately. They must. And there's Alanna standing at the sink, gleefully doing dishes. Now what? Now what?
I just explode and like leave. I'm
But
like,
the
that's
person
enough.
needs to, but the person has a bad coffee, and nothing makes you more angry than a bad cup of coffee. They need to, like, the only satisfaction they can have in that moment is throwing the whole coffee, including the mug, into the garbage can.
I mean, maybe at that moment I would be like, okay, fair enough.
It's a garbage emergency.
Yeah, it's an emergency. That's fine.
Okay. All right. Okay.
What about you? What makes you angry? This one I'm
Very,
curious about. I
very
don't
few
think I've ever
things.
seen you angry.
Yeah. Very few things make me angry these days. Boy, what makes me angry? I think just people mistreating other people, I guess. Poor treatment of people who do not deserve poor treatment
Hmm.
probably is a thing that makes me angry, right?
Yeah.
That's what comes to mind. It kind of takes a lot these days, but yeah, that comes to mind.
I have one
Uh,
more. Can I add one more while we're on the topic? You
you
know what
may.
also really makes me angry is just carelessness. When people are careless.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you triggered that in my mind when you said when people mistreat others or
Yeah.
um yeah, it's just like when people are careless, that also really makes me angry.
Yeah. I mean, and that's why George Michael decided to never dance again,
What do you mean?
because of a careless whisper.
Oh. I don't know
Get it?
George. I don't. Is that a song by George Michael?
Song. It's a song, Careless Whisper.
Sorry, it went over my head because I don't know
Wow.
George Michael or his songs.
Come on, George Michael. I don't know George Michael or his songs, but I know that song. Just kidding. I know all his songs. Anyways, okay.
What calms you? What calms you then? We're moving from anger to calmness.
I feel like we already talked about that with the hot showers and the like, what do you do when you have anxiety? But let's come up with a third thing. What calms me? Hypnosis. Obviously, I find self-hypnosis or hypnosis with a practitioner to be very calming and just sort of like or like just like luxurious decadent settings, like a red velvet sofa in front of a fireplace with like a glass of sparkling white wine.
Mm.
Just the idea of that like is very calming. So there you go. That's what comes to mind. But
Yeah.
what about you? What calms you? What is something that calms you?
Well, I don't want to copy yours, but I would say hypnosis or some type of meditation. But I think for me is like just going for a walk in nature, like
Nature
being
walk. Yeah.
outside, being, yeah, going for a
Yeah.
walk.
Yeah.
That calms me
Okay.
down.
Yeah. Like the sound of a waterfall nearby.
Yeah, like
birds
any time of
chirping.
year too. Like right now, I'm just thinking like going for a walk in the woods, like and hearing the crunching of snow. That would be so
Yeah.
calming for me. Like I don't know. There's something about that sound that I love. That
Yeah.
just like crunch, crunch, and and it's like silent, but all
Yeah.
you can hear is the crunching. I love that.
Yeah. Have you ever heard a squirrel screaming?
No, yeah.
No.
I don't
They
know if I've
do it
ever
all the
heard that.
time. You probably heard it and you've mistaken it for like an angry bird, but that's how they talk. Like
Yeah, no, I know that sound. I hear them
yeah.
in my backyard. Yeah.
Yeah, you know that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, nature. Anyways, cool. Something that calms you. Number next. What is your Atlanta Banks? What's your goal for the rest of this year? And it's already like almost mid-November as we
Yeah,
record
like
this.
it's almost the end of the year. I'm kind of like tapped out.
Yeah.
Like I just need to get through this year. I just want to get through the rest of this year. That's my goal.
Cool.
I'll get through it. I hope I get through it.
To survive the next 7 weeks.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I have a big trip, or not big trip, but I have a trip that's coming up that I think is going to be very what's the word I'm looking for?
Profound.
Not healing, but profound. I think like a lot is going to come of this trip. And so I'm interested to see, what that leads to and where I go from there. So that's not really a goal, but it's kind of a goal because it's kind of like I'm leaving it up to this thing. Yeah. And another goal is to get more people to enroll into my self-image workshop because right now I have no people. So.
As of recording this. So if you're hearing this and you haven't signed up for Alanna's self-image workshop, I've done it. I hosted Alanna to present it to my mastermind group, and it was universally adored. So
yeah. Oh, and this is like the same workshop, but like so much better.
Yeah.
So
cool.
The other goal that I have, actually, let's step back for a second. Yesterday, I kind of announced a bit of a pivot that I'm doing in my coaching business. And it was actually really received with a lot of enthusiasm, which I kind of knew. Yeah. So that got me really excited. So my goal really is to like push that forward and start creating content on that, although it's a bit of a shift for me. So you'll just have to stay tuned to hear more. I'm just going to leave it on open loop.
Sweet. All right. Very thorough answer. Thank you. Okay. Except for that part that was very vague. Anyways, yeah, like you said, open loop. What is my goal for the rest of this year? I too would like to survive the rest of the year. I would like to remain alive for the remainder of this year. I would enjoy that. I too have some travel coming up, as I generally do. Goal for the end of this year, for these next 7 weeks. Some of you might be aware that I was away from business and everything for 3 months, and I only came back recently. And so goal is just getting everything back up to speed and well beyond where it was in the past. And I'm grateful to say I'm right on track for that and running my training programs again, and everything's, rocking and rolling. So goal is just to keep on keeping on with that, basically. And to continue to bring more people into my world, into the NLP coaching and hypnosis coaching world, family.
Let's skip the next one because we kind of already said that. We're both looking forward to going away.
Cool, sure.
I'm just assuming that that's something you're looking forward to.
Yeah, whatever. All right.
Favorite book? I hate questions like this, honestly.
Favorite book? I do not have favorite books generally. However, literally right before we got on the recording for this episode, I was reading a book called The One Sentence Persuasion Course by, I think his name is Blair Warren. And it's a very short, I think it might take you like an hour or less to read this whole book. Very good. Halfway through it. Very good so far. So cool. There you go. What do you got? Okay. Favorite book / a good book?
The one book that I read that was like the biggest like aha for me when I was really starting to unravel stuff was A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson, which is like, I feel like a lot of people know this book. If you don't, get it and read it because it's amazing.
Yeah. We don't have time to find out why it's amazing. Next question. Alanna Banks, what's one quote that you live by?
Oh man, these questions.
On the spot.
I gotta prepare for stuff like this. No, I'm kidding. It's a good life if you don't weaken. If you listen to the Tragically Hip, that's a quote from, I don't know what song. Message me if you remember. But it's a good life if you don't weaken.
It's a good life if you don't weaken. Okay, cool. Quote that I live by. First you do the thing that scares you, then you get the courage. I'm pretty sure Robert De Niro said that, or his character said that in a movie, but I can't remember what movie. I thought I knew what it was, and then I Googled it, and apparently I was wrong. But somebody somewhere connected to Robert De Niro said, first you do the thing that scares you, then you get the courage. Okay, what do we got? One more.
This is the last one. Oh, you'll love this question.
Yeah, I already do. Alanna Banks, what angel number resonates with you?
Right now, for me, the number 33 is my number.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm going to just answer this question with numbers. I'm not going to qualify my answer at all. I'm just going to answer it because the question was posed. 1111, 444, and 555.
Yeah, all good. I mean, they're all good.
No context.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
We did it. We got through all of them. How long did that take? Like an hour?
To be fair, we skipped to the ones that we didn't like. Audience, full disclosure, there were more. There were some that we were just like, man, we don't feel like talking about those today. And I'm not going to apologize for that.
Yeah.
Are you?
No.
We're not going to apologize for that or at all.
Or make excuses about it either.
No excuses. Coaching podcast. Okay. So we're done.
We're done.
I'm Ryan Montis NLP on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. I have a website, ryanmontis.com. Teach coaching. I do coaching. Check out the website and the Instagram for what's going on right now. I've got a lot of new stuff coming really soon. What about you, Alanna? Who are you? Where do we find you? What do you want?
Yeah, so Alanna Banks Coaching on Instagram, alannabanks.com if you want to learn more about what I offer. And I also wanted to mention, I haven't mentioned this on this podcast, but I launched a secondary solo podcast called Cracked Open with Alanna Banks. And it is a podcast that is just hypnotic meditations, like hypnos, but I'm calling them hypnotic meditations because I don't want to scare people. So go check that out.
Yeah. And check out my new solo podcast, Very Scary Hypnosis Recordings, because I do want to scare people and I will stop at nothing until everyone is terrified. That, of course, a joke. Anyways, I guess that's it for today.
That's it. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks, Alanna. Bye.